My name is Alex. I was on a solo mission, drifting through the silent void of space, an explorer and a scientist tasked with unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. But as I ventured further from Earth, the solitude became suffocating. Then, as I reached my destination, a desolate asteroid floating in the vast expanse, I heard a distinct, unmistakable knock on the door of my spacecraft. My heart pounded in my chest as I stared at the metal door, the sound echoing through the silence of space. Who or what could possibly be out there? I was alone, light years away from any other living soul. For a moment, I hesitated, my mind racing with fear and curiosity. But then, against my better judgment, I approached the door and cautiously activated the controls to open it. The airlock hissed, and the door slid open, revealing nothing but the endless darkness of space. I peered out, my breath catching in my throat, searching for any sign of what had caused that eerie knock. But there was nothing, no ship, no debris, nothing but the silent void. I shook my head, trying to convince myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Maybe it was just the creaking of the ship's hull, or the sound of my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. But deep down, I knew it was something more. Something sinister lurking in the darkness, waiting for me. I retreated back into the safety of my spacecraft, sealing the door behind me. But the feeling of unease lingered, gnawing at the edges of my mind like a relentless predator. As I tried to focus on my work, the knock came again, louder this time, more insistent. I froze, my blood turning to ice in my veins. There was no mistaking it was coming from inside the ship. With trembling hands, I reached for the control panel, activating the internal cameras to scan the cramped confines of the spacecraft. But the screens remained dark, refusing to reveal the source of the sound. Panic surged through me as I realized I was not alone. There was something else on board with me, something that shouldn't be there. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest, as the knocking grew louder and more frantic, echoing through the empty corridors of the ship. And then, with a suddenness that sent shivers down my spine, the knocking stopped. In the deafening silence that followed, I knew that whoever had been knocking on my door was no longer content to wait outside. It was inside with me, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. I armed myself with a flashlight and a makeshift weapon, a wrench salvaged from the maintenance bay, and steeled myself for what lay ahead. With each step I took through the narrow corridors of the ship, the sense of dread intensified, a suffocating weight pressing down on me from all sides. But no matter how hard I searched, how carefully I scanned every corner and crevice, I found nothing. No sign of intruders, no trace of the source of that ominous knocking. It was as if the darkness itself had swallowed whatever had been lurking in the shadows, leaving behind only an eerie sense of emptiness. Exhausted and on edge, I retreated to the control room, desperate for some semblance of safety in the face of the unknown. But even there, I found no respite from the relentless terror that gripped my heart like a vice. As I sat alone in the dimly lit chamber, surrounded by the cold glow of the instrument panels, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every shadow seemed to shift and twist, every flicker of movement sending my pulse skyrocketing. And then, just when I thought I couldn't bear the suspense any longer, it happened again, a soft, rhythmic tapping on the glass viewport, like the whisper of ghostly fingers against the cold surface. I froze, my breath catching in my throat, as I slowly turned to face the source of the sound. Outside, bathed in the eerie glow of distant stars, I saw a figure standing on the surface of the asteroid, its silhouette hazy and indistinct against the void of space. My heart pounded in my chest as I stared, unable to tear my eyes away from the mysterious apparition. Who or what could possibly be out there, watching me from the darkness? With trembling hands, I reached for the communications console, my fingers hovering over the controls as I debated whether to make contact with the unknown entity. But before I could make a decision, the figure vanished, fading into the shadows as if it had never been there at all. I was alone once more, adrift in the vast emptiness of space, with nothing but my fear and uncertainty to keep me company. And as I huddled alone in the darkness, I couldn't shake the feeling that something malevolent was lurking just beyond the reach of my senses, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But no matter how hard I tried to rationalize it, to convince myself that it was just my imagination running wild, I knew deep down that the horror I had encountered was all too real. And as the endless expanse of space stretched out before me, I couldn't help but wonder what other terrors lurked in the shadows, waiting to be discovered in the unfathomable depths of the cosmos.